Hello Internet, James Allen from AGEod, and today I'm playing turn-based grand strategy game Wars of Succession. This is the latest title in the series by AGEod, which is immediately familiar to anybody who's played any of the titles going back to the original birth of America 12 years ago. It takes place in Europe, highlights really the War of the Spanish Succession, and it gives you 3 different start dates for that: 1701, 1706, 1709. There's also a smaller scenario in Italy that's supposed to serve as a tutorial, although it doesn't really have any verbose instructions in it. And there's also where you can play the Great Northern War only, starting in 1700. Again, there's not very many scenarios here. With all of these missions right here, you have to choose either the Bourbons or the Grand Alliance, and that's it. There's no other choices. You can't control a single country and have allies play the other people on your side. And there's really, other than the Italy one, which is extremely limited, there's not a lot of smaller scenarios that you can take part in. You know, when 4 out of 5 of your scenarios have the maximum complexity, there's kind of an issue in making the game easier for newcomers to play. As with previous AGEod titles, you're supposed to accumulate victory points by holding strategic towns, and that's the goal. So I'm just going to start here in 1706 as the Frenchies over here. Alright, so as soon as you get in the game, this will be immediately familiar to anybody who's played any of the AGEod games in the past. You have an extremely slow, laggy scrolling map, an interface which is very confusing and doesn't show information very readily available. You can press the 1 key, for example, to highlight who controls each province, but it doesn't show which are your enemies until you mouse over them, which is, you know, really ridiculous. You know, passability. Thanks. Well, here it shows the enemy supply regions, but still, I mean, it's very impenetrable for newcomers. You get this outliner over here that shows friendly units, but again, there's more units than this. In order to access everybody, you have to press F1 and get the list of forces. There's these filters up here that you could use to kind of hide all the forces that are locked, although essentially what happens is it just crashes the game. You know, the game has crashed multiple times on me, so it's not very stable or bug-free, which is a little disconcerting considering, you know, how old this engine is. Game also, you know, the game just performs very sluggish across the board, which is pretty surprising considering, you know, how much faster computers have gotten since 12 years ago when the original game that used this engine came out. Maybe the engine just isn't that good, you know, is the, you know, the lesson there. So, anyway. Not very good for newcomers because, I mean, you have all these units you're going to have to control and try to take the enemy out. So we go back to this orange view. Basically, we're green and we're going after the orange people here. And you want to try to take towns. And that's basically that. So go back to our little army list. We can see who our big people are. If you click on them, you go through one at a time and can see who the people are. And then you basically just move people around by dragging and dropping them. So I can move these guys up to you know, Cologne, which will take 78 days because it's a big freaking army, which is only 2 turns because each turn's a month. But you know, all of your units, just as in previous AGEod games, are basically just a container full of other units that you just place in there, and then they have to have a you know, commander rating. Like the commanders I have in this army are worth 68, and they're controlling 55 worth of units, so there's no penalty there, so that's good. You know, and that's basically it. So you order the units around. You can recruit new units, so you can go into military recruitment mode. You scroll through this thing again, you know, old interface that they've used forever. When you click on it, you can kind of, it shows in green which territories you can actually place those units in, and then you just simply drag and drop them, and then it'll recruit them. And each of the units has a little, you know, cost up here in both money and manpower. So I'm just going to put some people in here. And it takes some time for you to recruit them, too. Until I run out of money. That's basically it. So that's all the money there. In addition to that, you get these decisions, which you basically just place on territories. Like you can put a mine somewhere, or rebuild defensive walls for, a castle that got stormed and stuff like that. And then here's the list of all your armies and what units you're producing and all that sort of things. Gives you a little strategic map. It shows you where all your units are, so you got to control all these blue guys, and the white guys are the enemies. Different regions. The game also utilizes off-map areas, but then it throws them in these little these little tiny pictures off to the side. Again, the engine isn't really designed for that. So, I mean, I guess we'll just start ordering people around. So, at least it changes that, so that you know that he's moving. Let's see if we can go after this. See how long that would take. Yeah, it takes about a month. I just feel like attacking stuff, even though that might not be the best thing. Madrid, you could stay. Nice, I'll probably move. Let's see. What to? Yeah, we'll go into Genoa. Oh, no, we can't. Oh, yeah, it's blocked. That's cool. Oh, yeah, it is blocked. Try to go after that. I don't know how many units there are up there, though. That's the problem. Probably move these guys over, too. So that's too mountainous, I guess, for those guys. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Again, the game is very, light on information. It's not Hungary. But again, you have so many units that you have to go through. Look at that. It's insane. Which takes a lot of time. There's people in Paris. Zaragoza. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these guys are so far away. I could probably use that guy in Brussels, though. Let's move him up here. And let's move him up. How can I get it across the Rhine? I could go this way. Oh, wait, no, that's the same guy. Let's delete that. I forgot that I moved him already. There you go. Yeah, all three of these. That guy's fine. Oh no, he's an enemy. So, never mind. Don't go over there. You gotta fight that guy. He's got a lot of units though. Here, you just go there. We'll just meet both of those guys up there and then we'll try to attack this guy. I forgot that was an enemy. Again, you just have to know that the red guy is your enemy. So it's not very, it's not very obvious. And that's basically it. You know what you're getting in the game. That's a naval thing. Bunch of stuff in Spain. And then you get all these little messages you just get at the end. So, but since it's the first turn, it basically just gives you a bunch of crap to catch you up on what's going on. So it's Philippe, he's too far. I can't move. Not where I want to, anyway. Yeah. One of these, and it won't tell you which one can't move in there. So, who the heck knows? Army of the Piedmont, but, you can't move him into the mountains because that would make too much sense. Yeah, and he's just kind of hanging out with these guys. I could probably... Yeah, I could probably attack over to the right. God, so laggy. It's ridiculous. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go up this way. Let's kind of meet those guys up there. 71 days. It takes so long. You take the bus. Alright, well, you know, kind of half-heartedly playing over there. So here's turn resolution. Such a long turn resolution. You know, you really get frustrated by the limitations of the game engine here. You can get all these boats. I'm not even paying attention to the boats, which is probably my fault. Just why I lose so much. And there's really no reason why it should be so slow. At this point, they basically have not improved the engine at all, you know, to make it any faster. How they move so many boats around. Okay, so there's a battle. I did actually want to show that. It's all automated. It does use, you know, the attributes of the leaders and stuff like that as part of the simulation, which is nice. To kind of figure out what the results are going to be. So I lost. So yay for me. You can adjust the stance of your units and the rules of engagement anywhere between, you know, assault and passive, and whether you're doing an all-out attack or you're just going to retreat, you know, kind of delay them and stuff like that. So it gives you a little bit of control on how you want to do the combat there. So there's different phases and stuff that's being, shown during the combat. Yay, lost 2. You can also see the detailed report. And it shows exactly, all the different rounds and the results and all that stuff, so you can kind of see where it got all the numbers from if you're interested in that sort of thing for all the different units and stuff. So, again, slow and laggy to see all this stuff, though. So it's almost not worth it. Again, no reason for it to be this slow. Awesome. Won't even register when I click the X. Okay, that was one turn. So, you can see all these messages down here about, getting supplies, losing those battles, which you saw because of the get, resolved when you do that. Reinforcements, hits you get from traveling, basically attrition as you walk through all the territories and stuff like that. So, yeah, why don't you go help them up there? Oh yeah, that's the enemy in it. And that's enemy too. So, and that's basically all I want to do there. The money isn't up yet to do reinforcements, so probably just resolve one more turn and then we'll see what happens and then we'll kind of sum it up. Oh, good. That was marginally faster. This will be the last turn, so I don't want to keep wasting everyone's time watching the computer think. End up losing these battles, I mean, probably. Oh, God. totally ignore you. Yeah, not a surprise. Oh, it's going to be a long-term resolution, I can already tell. Anyway, I guess while we're waiting for this nonsense, I'm going to just sum it up. This is just going to take forever because he's stupid. Every time the boats move, which aren't even mine because I didn't bother doing anything with my navy. I mean, basically, you know what you're going to get with an AGEod game at this point. You know, they advertise all these provinces and all these units, but I honestly don't think this engine can handle it. I thought it was pretty apparent when Pride of Nations came out that anything bigger than, you know, the Birth of America size scenarios is too much for this engine to handle. The turns take too long. The AI takes too long. The map is too laggy when you're scrolling it. There's too many units to go through. It's just not designed for that scale of a battle. It actually won a battle. You know, there's only a handful of scenarios in here. Although each of the scenarios is very detailed, you know, you get all the historical leaders and their historical positions and all the towns and stuff, so it is an impressive amount of detail. But, you know, the game needs more smaller scenarios that I think would run faster because you're only controlling, like, one nation. Like, maybe I just want to do Austria or Hungary or France or England or the Netherlands, you know, or Prussia or whatever, or Spain, instead of controlling all half of the people at once. You know, that also speed up how long it takes you to do each of your turns. You know, the turn resolution's too long. It scrolls slowly. Sometimes it, you know, even moving the mouse around, you know, is just a lag. You know, Xing out of the little battle results is lag. It's just, there's no reason for it to be like that at this point. You know, you'd think they would polish things up a little bit, but they just didn't. They just concentrated on making new scenarios, which is basically the only thing that's new here. Is you get, you know, there's no major new features. They didn't improve anything. They just added new scenarios, and that's basically it. You know, you do get classic AGEod stuff. You know, all the different stacks of units with the historical leaders that are very detailed. You know, decently automated battles, so you can choose the postures and stuff like that. You get to produce units. The decision cards and the events that happen. You can also do diplomacy, which I'll show off as soon as this turn finishes, moving every stupid ship on the map around, where you can try to bring different sides into the war on your side. AI seems to be pretty solid, which it should be, considering how long it takes for the AI to make their turns. But, I mean, this really shows the limitations of the game engine. In my opinion, they need to just concentrate on smaller scenarios that runs better. You know, this engine is just, it's 12 years old. And it still runs terribly. So, you know, I don't think this is not a very approachable game because of the size of all of the scenarios that are in it, with the exception of the one that's really intended to be a tutorial. So this is not a good game for beginners. People who like AGEod titles, I think, will just snap this up and you know, not have an overwhelming issue with you know, how the you know, the limitations of the game engine come through, because they like those type of strategic titles, and there are advantages to it. You know, it does have a lot of depth with the units and stuff, but it's very arduous to play. So that's kind of the trade-off that you have there. So, still waiting for all these boats to move. We're on day 23, though, so we only have a week left. And then I'll show off the diplomacy menu. Which I don't even think it has any options right now. It's probably most of the things have been resolved by 1706, I would think. But we'll see. Thank the Lord. Alright, so, diplomacy, F6. No, that's the strategic map. Has the wrong shortcut in the manual. I even wrote it down and everything. Yep, that was the wrong one. See, I wrote it down in my review notes, and it was wrong. So, good job. There you go. Yeah. So you have these political options and stuff like that. So it's actually F4, not F6 like the manual says. But most of these are locked anyway. But there's different things you can do. Basically costs money, converts some money to recruits, stuff like that. Converts money to war supplies. So little things like that you can do. But there you go. That's Wars of Succession. As you would expect, even before going in, you know what an AGEod title is going to be like. There's not enough smaller scenarios. It's very geared towards experienced players who have played one of their titles before. And you just get the new scenarios. There's no improvements or additions to the game engine or the game rules or any of that stuff. So if you like AGEod stuff, then this is yet another set of scenarios you can have with it. But I think for most people, the age of the engine and the limitations of the game scenarios and the game features are really starting to come through and show how outdated the engine is. So there you go. That's all I have for today. Until next time, bye now.